recording. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You start with a blooper, huh? Wow.
I haven't done this in a long time. Sorry.
That was great.
That was a premature explanation. Yep.
Let's pause for a second so we actually have an intro. Brought to you by Mint Mobile. Stay tuned for a special offer at the end of the show. Hi, and welcome to the Mobile Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Miriam Joar, and today is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025, and I've got the awesome Adam Doud here as my guest. Hi, Adam. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm stepping on your intros left and right here. I love it.
That was fun. You also have a gigantic mic in front of your face. Where are you? Behind the mic?
Oh,
no, it's fine.
Yeah, here I am.
Oh, there
I'm
you are.
over here. Yeah, sorry about that. I was just chilling. I was leaning back, you know.
So hey, happy holidays, everyone. We're recording this just before Christmas because, well, you know, normally I record at the end of the week to wait for all the news to roll in. But yeah, there's this thing called Christmas. Have you heard of it? I don't really celebrate it, but some people do. So if you do, have a great time retroactively, since you're going to get this on Sunday. Adam, CES is coming up, for better or for worse.
Yes, it is.
I'm actually very excited because I have Stockholm Syndrome about CES. So it's like I'm going there because I hate it and I love it at the same time. Well, I love being in Vegas, but not for the reason people think. Because look, Vegas is not a great place. I'll be nice. But it's the thing about Vegas that when you go there for work, Vegas is actually a pretty interesting place because, like, I don't gamble, I don't spend money.
Right.
I just work. And that rush that we get as media, as tech media in particular, because it's a pretty hectic field we're in, where we're constantly going to seeing all the latest, coolest innovations. It's a real rush. And that's why I love going to CES. But I also love Vegas because like, this is going to be like 16 CES or something. So like, I'm like, you know, it's got so many memories. So I think that's what it is for me.
Right. And I haven't been going there long enough to be jaded about it yet. But I'm there. I'm kind of like right in the sweet spot because like I've got Vegas down. I've got CES down. I know what I'm doing, except arguably this year. This year's a little bit of a dumpster fire. But anyway, I'm still kind of like excited about it, and I'm not jaded about it. I just don't go to Eureka Park. I learned that early on.
Well, yeah. So, if you want to get a disease, that's where you go.
Wow, that's
no. I mean, like because you know
than I was going, but okay.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like this, it's easy to get sick at CES because you have people from all over the world touching all kinds of things that you touch. So I hand sanitize, wash your hands a lot. I'm not like hypochondriac, okay, but I'm just saying like this is a big deal. And it seems that because people are so crammed together at Eureka Park on top of that, it's worse. You know, that's the first thing that comes to me, disease vector. But my point is 16 years of CES for me, this is my 16th. I think I love the rush. I love the new tech. I love there's always like Burning Man. There's always something that stands out that makes you go, that's what I came for this year. That's why I'm going to CES. Right?
Okay.
Like, you know, I did Burning Man for years. I used to work there like over a decade, 15 years or something. And then I lost the job there, whatever. It's no big deal. I'll go back in the future, but I can't go back without working there. It's like, I have to have a purpose and there has to be something that makes me go like, aha, this is the magical moment that I came for. And all the BS around it, all the waiting in taxi lines, all the the difficulties, all of that was totally worth it. And we do it for you, my audience, and for Adam's audience. So it's exciting. But yeah, Stockholm Syndrome. I love it, but I hate it. My captors treat me well. So, you know. What are you expecting at CES? What are your things that you're like can talk about that you're looking forward to right now?
Things that I can talk about. Well, I mean, I think the one thing that I don't think is a super secret anymore is we are very likely going to see the Samsung trifold there in one form or another.
Yeah.
So that's like honestly, that's my headline.
That's
right
my
there
headline
is
piece too.
Samsung.
Like I know I'm seeing
Samsung
it.
trifold.
I know I'm going to handle it somehow. probably behind closed doors with some very big adult supervision.
Right.
But right, but at the same time, some of our colleagues already got their hands on it. Some of them being able to afford buying one because you can import it. But for
Right.
me, it's more like going to be my first look / first impressions. And I will share that with you folks. And maybe Adam, you'll be there for the podcast at CS as well. We'll figure that out. But here's the thing.
I got to look at it. But yeah,
there's going to be some phones announced, I think, for once. Like, of course, TCL will have something, probably the next paper, something, next generation of their phone, which every year they have a next paper phone they launch there and a tablet usually. But also, Moto has like teased something like for CES. And I'm not sure what it is. Like, we're going to talk about a FIFA phone that leaked, but that looks like an existing phone just rebranded.
Right.
Although, who knows, they might surprise us and make a bespoke model because
I am excited about that, by the way. But anyway,
yeah, me too. They're the official partner of FIFA 2026 football World Cup. I'm a European. What am I saying soccer for? Somebody slapped me. But anyway, I don't know. I'm feeling like Moto is up to something. Like, they don't make such a fuss at CS usually. We're getting email after email. They're going to do something big at the Sphere, apparently. I don't know. Like, wow. And that's it's not Lenovo as well, right? Like, Lenovo is the parent company. Don't forget. We love our Lenovo laptops. There's going to be Asus with some cool stuff always.
Yep.
Dell, HP, all those people that I don't really cover because I don't just have the bandwidth for that. Because I got to do the cars.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So you're going to be in the right hall for that.
Here's the thing about the cars this year. I haven't gotten much from the various manufacturers. BMW is there. They're always there on the big parking lot right in front of the convention center. They've invited me to some stuff.
Oh, cool.
I know Qualcomm's there and has some automotive stuff. They always do. It's a big automotive part of their year. And I'm really looking forward to that because Qualcomm's doing some really cool stuff in that field. Qualcomm and NVIDIA, and I guess Rivian and Tesla making their own chips, we really have to watch out for if you are covering cars, folks. But I haven't gotten much from the big mainstream manufacturers. A lot of them are there, but not with a booth. They're there with like a partner or something. Like, I'll give you an example. Cadillac is going to be there with Dolby because Dolby Atmos is in Cadillacs. And by the way, as an aside, I've driven a lot of cars this year. I get a car roughly every week or two on average for a week. And, in 2 locations that I live. And every time I get in a Cadillac and I install Amazon Music on the App Store because it's Android Automotive and it has the Google Automotive Services, the same equivalent to GMS, so it's got the Play Store. So you can install some apps. The apps are not mapped perfectly between mobile and auto because some apps don't exist, but they have an Amazon Music app. And if you have a subscription, which I do, but I only kind of turn it on when I need it, like I cancel it and I reinstate it, you can get full-on Dolby Atmos streaming, but I'm not talking about like Dolby Atmos on your iPhone streaming over Bluetooth because that never gives you Atmos, right? Like Bluetooth doesn't support multi-channel. So you need to have the actual app native on your infotainment. Oh my God.
Really?
Like, it is unbelievably good. It's like, I can't leave the car. I stop the car, I park, and I listen to 3 more songs while I'm parked. It's just so incredible.
Just that good, huh? I have a meeting with Pioneer. They're doing some interesting stuff. Can't really talk about it yet, but Pioneer is the aftermarket, car radio company. They're an audio company, but
I mean, they've been around forever, and car is one of their big. It's like Alpine, right? They've been around doing car stuff for a long time. By the way, Alpine, in case you didn't know, in the audio world, their non-car brand is TIAC. You've probably heard of TIAC. TIAC for years made really great cassette and reel-to-reel tape recorders. Of course, now they do all the other stuff, but they're more like studio-grade equipment, not like audiophile. So their car division is Alpine. Pioneer car stuff. Great. I can't wait to find out what that's about because here's the thing. Everything we cover these days, right, Adam, you'll agree, has some tech in it now. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, we don't just go to CS because, there's going to be some cool tech. It's the way that tech is implemented in whatever that we care about. So
Yeah, exactly.
So what else am I looking forward to CES? Well, there's going to be some parties and events and cocktail hours. Those are always nice to
Sure.
wind down at the end of the day. To be frank, the 3 media-only events that we go to, Unveiled, PepCom, and Showstoppers, are these basically imagine a gigantic banquet hall with these little booths with these smaller manufacturers of equipment. Some of them are not that small. They're
Yeah.
basically peddling their goods and showing off the latest stuff they have. That is what those 3 are for. And honestly, I get a ton of mileage there. Unlike you, I don't write that much at CES. It's mostly about the podcast and doing social media reels every day. I try every day. It's hard.
Yeah.
But it's, sure, there's some articles that are coming out of that for me, but it's not like don't need to hit every single one. For me, it's just a matter of walking up and down, spending a bit of time with my friends and colleagues because, we catch up. We haven't seen each other. Some of them come from all over the world. But also oh my God, look at this cool little gadget. What did you see that's cool here? Oh, this bike that does XYZ. Or, oh, this battery pack. That's crazy. Or I saw a Pokemon that bounced on, a little spring-loaded motor thing and tells you what the weather temperature is outside. The cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I like about the showcases, the Unveiled and the PepCom is, CES is a trade show, so it's very much geared towards trades. It's very much geared towards Walmart walking around to an electronics store and say, I want 10,000 of your thing, that kind of stuff. But PepCom, Unveiled, and stuff like that, since they're media focused, they're much more consumer focused, which I think is a better fit for journalists like you and me who are just interested. We're not necessarily interested in like B2B type stuff. And like when you're walking around the show on CES, you can walk past, 10 booths that are all B2B stuff. And then like you could easily miss like a consumer focused thing because you just kind of tune it out by that point.
Yeah.
But
plus you get distracted by all the big booths like the LGs and the Samsungs that are and the Sonys that are just like OMG. And the other thing is there's also a ton of cool stuff at Eureka, but again, danger zone, and it's they're addressing both the media and those Walmart sellers at Eureka Park.
Right.
And so half the time they don't know who you are and maybe your tag's backwards, they don't see your media and they start giving you the sales pitch. You're like, stop.
I'm flip. There you go.
I see this is cool. Tell me about it. So I've stopped. You're right. Eureka, no more Eureka.
I mean, the thing about Eureka Park is it's big ideas in Eureka Park, but 99% of it is never going to see the light of day. And so that's always been my experience with Eureka Park.
I think so. And then the other thing is, even when I was doing consulting more and I was trying to get on clients that I would advise on how to launch their products, I would go to Eureka Park and then I would never really find anything that was ready. It's like,
right. Yeah.
It's like, I'm not talking ready for consumers, but even ready to be checked before they were launching kind of thing.
We have a concept of an idea.
Months. Correct. Indeed. But I'm just saying
there
is some value there for sure, but it's just, we also have so much else to do, right? Like for you, you and I both have meetings. We both have hands-ons. We have briefings that we have to attend, a lot of stuff we can't talk to you about. And then we'll recap in our CS show. But we also have, for me, I have to divvy it up between get some consumer electronic stuff for you folks and get some car stuff for you folks. So it's like 2 different realms. And it's interesting that in the car stuff this year, the big players have just decided, you know what? This is an expense we're trying to avoid. And I think there's also, I hate to say this, but let's be real, our regime has really messed things up in terms of tariffs and in terms of travel for people. And I think that there's a lot of people who don't want to take the chance to run into issues at the border coming into the country because they're not Americans.
Right.
And so, or even those that are, green card holders or whatever, immigrants. And so that's putting a damper on things. And I think that's also why, especially the German car makers are like, no.
Nine.
Nope.
Keinen Dank.
And I think, we're going to see some stuff, but I feel like a lot more is going to be the partners that are like US based companies or Canadian, like QNX and, like Qualcomm. I think we're going to see more of, demos in small booths, like I said about Cadillac, right?
Yeah.
With Dolby Atmos, like I wouldn't say Dolby is a small booth, but I think that they're not like the size of LG and Samsung, right? That's
Right.
kind of what I'm getting
Very
to.
few are, though, fortunately.
Well,
But
those are a showcase to me more than like I don't actually go to these booths to do hands-on with anything. I try to arrange
right.
meetings for that, but like walking through one of those is like part of the I love CS, but I hate CS because it's too
Hmm.
crowded, but at the same time it's so wonderful. Like literally the word wonder. Like it's
Yeah.
wow, right?
Yeah.
Especially LG, they always nail it somehow. I don't know what they do to make it happen.
Yeah.
Budgets, they have them.
They've got some brilliant minds working behind the scenes, building their booths year after year. I would imagine I would imagine building an LG booth is probably like an 18-month design process from start to
Boy,
finish.
yeah. And then the other thing is talking about LG makes me want to have an LG phone again.
Mm,
They should come back. It's never
they
too late,
should.
LG. You have the
That's right.
tech. You have all the good stuff. Make
Still
it
got
so.
still got this guy laying around.
Oh, I thought you were gonna pull out the wing. I have the
The
wing.
wing.
I kept
I
the
have that
wing.
around here somewhere too. I can't find it
For
right
those of
at
you on Patreon right now, Adam is digging through his bins of phones to find the wing. There's a Patreon. You can support me there. Patreon.com/Tankerl, TNKGRL. There is a video version of this podcast you can get every week for $5 a month, and you get
I
it a
can't
day
find
in
the wing.
advance.
But you know what? That was that's why you're a real consummate professional there, Miriam, because you were just totally covering for me my BSing back there with my phones.
I mean, the way I
So,
look at this, and this is a bit of internal, like inside baseball, while you
yep.
do this, for the audio version, I'm going to cut out your audio completely. For the
Oh
video
yeah.
version, I'm going to leave it in because it's fun. Because those of you
Right.
watching on Patreon right now are going to be like, haha, Adam, look at that. He's going digging through his bins. This is awesome.
Right.
So, for the audio people, you're just going to miss out because I'm just going to mute it all
Yeah.
out.
None of
Yeah.
it. None of
See, you
thing.
don't get
That's why
quite
you should subscribe to Patreon.
exactly.
Patreon.com
This is where the bloopers
/Tankerl.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
I will leave in the fact that you referred to the little blooper we did when we started the show that will only be available to the Patreons. It was pretty
Patreon.com
epic.
/Tankerl.
Thank you.
Anyway.
So anything else? I'm trying to think of what I have big meetings with and big things about. So for me, there's essentially, the usual suspects like Samsung, with that trifold. I have some Lenovo Moto stuff. I have Asus. I have BMW. And then, I have a whole bunch of small things that, I really can't talk about. But those are not the big brands. So, I don't know. I'm excited about CS, but I'm also feeling like because of the current political climate, I'm worried it's going to be a little less exciting. And
It's
some
be more
of that
subdued.
buzz is going to be gone. And I don't like that because, again, I got Stockholm syndrome. I want this to be the same as before.
Right. I'm looking forward to some compute action going on because
like
Dell, HP,
MSI. Yeah, the new chips from Qualcomm and stuff. Yeah, and Intel and AMD. I'm sure there's going to be new stuff there.
There's going to be some cool. I've already done a few previews and been briefed. There's some cool stuff coming that I think, like in the PC market, that I think people are going to be super interested in.
You've done you cover laptops like more actively than I do. Like Anderson, you actually write about them, whereas I will just mention them on the podcast when something really cool comes up.
Right.
I feel like there's always a lot of laptops at the show, but not a lot of mobile usually. And that's why I'm excited to hear, of the trifold, being finally officially launched in the US. So we'll get pricing hopefully and stuff. And then, whatever Moto's up to and whatever TCL. TCL is always doing some cool stuff. Do I wish that TCL was doing a flagship phone at some point? Yes. I want them to really nail it one day. But I feel like that's not going to happen, right?
But today is not that day.
I think you're right. It is not. And I don't think they're invested in that anymore. They make so much money off their TVs. They're like, we have this next paper technology, which replicates, e-ink, but not being e-ink, and it's color. And we want to stick with that. And I respect that. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty solid. Trying to think. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see anything big from like LG, except for TVs. If you're into TVs, of course, they're going to have something
Right.
incredible. So will Samsung. That's something I don't cover so much. I don't know much about Sony this year. Do you know anything they're doing? I mean, other than great
Um,
TVs again?
I am meeting with Sony behind closed doors. So yeah, and most of what I deal with on Sony is like more on the audio end. So like, headphones and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's very possible Sony might be doing some TV stuff that I'm not aware of. But it's possible that Sony could be doing some camera stuff that I'm not aware of. Like Sony
Yeah.
has its
Wow.
fingers in a lot of pies. But I would say in general, I think everything that Sony is doing is going to be like behind closed doors. Off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking.
I think you're right. For me, audio is definitely something I'm interested in, but I don't really have the connections because I don't really have time to focus on it much as a writer.
Right.
I do get the earbuds from the big phone manufacturers on a regular basis, and headphones. Sony every now and then hooks me up, although they're a little stingy, to be honest. But I feel like you know, I'd love to like dive deeper into the ODZs and the other brands that make really like the Marshalls and the
Hmm.
all the other cool brands that do audio stuff that I would enjoy and like. But that's again another domain to add to my pie. And I'm, like you, we're one, right? We're
Right.
one
One
person at
person.
CS. We can't duplicate ourselves. I have the help from my producer Theo as well. They're going to be there, but we can't really split because like I'm the need to see the stuff and they're kind of helping with content. So
Right. Right.
you're by yourself completely, which is even worse.
I
Although you're probably going with some of your colleagues from some of your pubs. I know I'm kind of teaming up with some of my colleagues from some of our pubs for some things like the trifold. So
Yeah, like so well this is actually CES, again inside baseball. This is a first for me because I'm not going to CES with SlashGear specifically. I'm actually going as a freelancer.
oh, for your first time,
So
this cool.
yeah, so I'm totally a free agent. I'm probably going to be writing pieces for at least 4 different publications while I'm there. I've lined up a bunch of work ahead of time because I don't have the backing of a publication. I'm not looking forward to my Uber bill. Because normally I'd be like, "Oh, I'll just expense it." Yeah, I can't expense it this time. So, I'm not looking forward to my Uber bill, but beyond that, like I'm actually kind of a little excited but also a little nervous. Like, it would be nice to have a publication behind me, but I'm also, I could just go do and see what I want, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. For me, it's a bit of both. I mean, I'm obviously going as the Mobile Tech Podcast, but
Hmm.
there is a few writing gigs I've got lined up that are related to my time at CS. Most of them are happening like after the show, like assignments that I need to complete when the show is over.
Okay,
So it's not too bad during the show. I think the only thing I might have to write up during the show is a trifold, and
that's
that's it.
definitely a big one.
It is. I mean, the way I look at the trifold, macro view pulling back, it's a Z Fold 7 with an extra panel. That's it.
Yeah,
Like spec
yeah,
wise, that's it. That's all you have to it. But of course, that extra
yeah.
panel changes everything. So
It really
that's the
does.
focus. Like I'm not going to focus
Yeah.
on the specs that much. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, I wrote about the trifold for Techlicious, and I said I think this is the foldable that I've been waiting for. Like this is
I
the
think we
form
all have.
factor that I've really wanted because like the square honestly has never done much for me. Like it's great. I always take a book style foldable to CES and other trade shows because I have my schedule laid out in a spreadsheet, and it's a lot easier to see more stuff on that larger screen. But at the same time, like it hasn't really been useful beyond that. And I'm looking for a phone that I can literally unfold into like a monitor and set up like a laptop, basically. That has been my yardstick, and I haven't gotten that up until now. And that's why I'm very excited about this phone.
That is something I need to experiment with because Android tablets in the past haven't done it for me. So I'm worried that once I do set up the trifold as a workstation, like in the press room or something, I'm going to get frustrated because I'm not on a laptop. I don't have
I get that.
the pickup
I
truck
get that.
backing me up here. And so, the analogy that Steve Jobs did, the laptop is a pickup truck. But, I find that the Square has grown on me because it's still thinner when closed, one. And two, on an airplane, when I don't have room to spread out with a laptop or even a tablet with a keyboard, because, I'm in economy and the recline and all that, I find that I can do a lot of productive writing on the Square. The regular
with the virtual keyboard or with the regular.
No,
with
it was the physical
Bluetooth
keyboard on
Okay.
the corner one. Like where I it splits in half. I'm very productive with that. So I
with
get
the virtual. Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I get, instead of having half or a third of my candy bar phone taken up by the screen and writing on a tiny sliver this big, I now have like a visor, like it's the size of, and it's also, for me, I write better horizontally. A lot of people use their monitors vertically, but I'm not that person. I'm very much a horizontal person. So the Square works because the folding phones, because I can use like 1/3 for the keyboard and that other 2/3 is like a rectangular, and I can read more text and I can actually write. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And that's why I've been using it. But I think this is what I would do on an airplane with a trifold, like virtual keyboard. Like I don't even think I would lay out a Bluetooth keyboard or anything. I would just have more canvas.
Okay.
And maybe I'll actually do this with it. And have the keyboard be and still have a
I wonder how that would work.
So that's the thing. That's why I need it, because folks, I can't tell you without using it for a while what the use case might be for me, and then that might inspire you, if you're interested in this device and you can afford it, to, find some use cases for yourself. I think that this is exactly why I need to play with this for more than a few hours. But there will be an attempt for me to go to the coffee shop, put this thing on a stand with a Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse, and see what I can get done, or trackpad. There are some very compact Bluetooth keyboards out there. I have a really old one, the Stowaway Bluetooth keyboard from 2005. It's the first of its kind. It folds in half, and when it's closed, it's about the size of like a razor, like a Moto razor. And it opens up to about the size of a slightly longer Moto razor, and it has normal laptop key travel. It doesn't have a row of numbers, so it's a pretty, basically just the QWERTY part of your keyboard.
Interesting.
The space bar is split in half because that's where the hinge is, but it's essentially two space bars, but they're close enough that you can hit either side and you get space. It's a pretty cool thing for a 20-year-old piece of hardware, and I found it in my bin of old things, and it still works like a charm. Of course, I removed the 2 AAA batteries that were inside a long time ago because I was smart when I stored it.
Yeah.
And so I put new batteries in, and it was as happy as a clam. And I paired it with the OnePlus Pad Go 2, because why doesn't that thing have a keyboard, Folio?
Don't get me started.
As I said last week in my when I quoted you, that it's a travesty. It doesn't have open canvas. Why?
Why?
Okay, you want to hear the craziest thing? A quick update on last week's show. You can buy the OnePlus Pad 2, not Pad Go 2, Pad 2. So last year's flagship, same screen size, 12 inches.
Yeah.
For $50 less.
Are you serious?
Yep. Right now on OnePlus's website, US website. So they're selling the new one, which is a lesser tablet, because that thing has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, the Pad 2, and has a keyboard folio and has open canvas. And it's better in every way.
Right.
Why would you buy the more expensive, lesser tablet? Fail. I don't understand OnePlus this year. Can we have a small mini OnePlus rant before we move on to the news? Because I'm still butthurt by the OnePlus 15R.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That is entirely fair. I found both of the launches both of OnePlus's offerings to be really, first of all, overpriced. And second of all, just what do you, who are you for? It was kind of like the iPhone 16e a little bit. Like, what consumer are you targeting? I especially like the fact that they teased us again by not putting wireless charging in the OnePlus 15R, but including a case that has a MagSafe ring on it.
Oh, I
Like,
never talked about that in my review. That is a very good point.
yeah, so they did that because they did that with the 13R as well, and so, but yeah, I found both of them to be like, and I think the overpricing is largely due to the memory shortages going on right now. I think OnePlus is trying to adjust for that particular market factor. Yeah, okay, fine, but yeah, I think the OnePlus Go Pad 2 Go Pad Go 2,
You got it.
whatever.
That was the lesson.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That is like too big to be a reading tablet. The speakers are too crappy for it to be a consumer tablet or a movie watching tablet.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, and it doesn't have a keyboard, so it's not a productivity tablet. So, why is this tablet? I guess is the question.
Well, especially when you're
need to ask.
selling your last year's flagship for $50 less.
Right. Right. So I didn't mean to cut off your OnePlus rant with my own little OnePlus rant.
No, this is why we're both ranting. It's good. My
Okay.
rant was very simple. You'll repeat it last week. As you said, I think you nailed it just now. I do not understand who OnePlus is targeting with these two devices.
Yeah.
In fact, I do not understand who they're targeting with the 15. I mean, I do understand it better because it's their flagship. But it is not a well-balanced phone, the 15. It is a great phone, no doubt. Right. But it's not the best phone they've made. The best phone they've made is the 13, and I stick with that.
Arguably.
And usually the best phone they make is it's this current year, or the current, the current model. And in this case, I feel like if performance is the only thing that matters to you, the 15 will reward you now that they fixed the thermal issues and the software updates, by the way. But the cameras are still disappointing.
I did find the super zoom on the 15 to be pretty darn good. Like the 120x zoom. I did a camera showdown for ZDNet where I pitted that against the 25 Ultra, the S25 Ultra, and like from a super zoom standpoint, man, that thing's got some chops.
But here's the thing. The same software exists on the OnePlus 13 and you get the same results with a better sensor and a better lens.
Arguably, yeah.
So
and
you actually get better quality.
And better tuning because you have
remember,
the Hasselblad partnership.
The 13 has received 3 or 4 software updates and they keep improving it. So maybe they won't now. But, I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant. I think that the 15R is an even harder sell. I thought that last year with the 13R, they were like, okay, we're getting close to flagship. We still have a telephoto in there. It doesn't have OIS, but it does help. Because honestly, the 15R, the main sensor is really solid. But as soon as you get to 4 or 5X, it's crap.
It falls apart.
Here's the crazy thing. Adam, that engine they have, the new imaging engine, right? Whatever it's called.
I know what you're talking about. The true steady good pick engine or whatever.
That.
Yeah.
No, you made that up.
It's something like that.
You made that up.
No, it's not that. It's something like that though. It's like yeah. I'm gonna look it up, damn it.
Detail Max engine.
Detail Max engine. There you go.
I didn't have to look it up. It came out of my brain. Poof. Anyway, so here's the thing. The Detail Max engine supports AI zooming. Why didn't they put that algorithm on the main sensor? Why not have the main sensor give us 6x, 8x zoom using that Detail Max crazy AI zoom algorithm? I'm not saying you would have gotten to 120x, no way, but it could have gotten to 10x, no problem. And right now at 10x, the OnePlus 15R is drawing some kind of weird artificial line in the sand saying, I suck at photography. Like seriously, you have the algorithms, give us a good, and then the ultra wide is a potato, and we're already near that. But going in,
right?
But to me, okay, you've gone from an LTPO display to an LTPS. Yes, it can refresh higher in certain games. Who cares? Okay, you got a better chip. The chip is solid, 100%. You got a massive battery. Awesome, great.
Yep.
Performance and battery life, absolutely no qualms. The 15R nails it. But the it's like the 15. So regression in camera compared to the 13 that had a 2x telephoto, even though it had no OIS. It's a regression in the LTPO department with the display, in my opinion. You're not going to notice it, but like I still think it's not as good of a display on paper. Like, and then, some people are going to say, Miriam, it's 165. That's better. And I'm like, nah, after 120, nobody cares and nobody notices. Nobody wants. Whatever. And then,
I would argue after 60, but okay, go ahead.
For me, it's definitely 90. Like 90, I notice. Like anything beyond that, I'm old though. My eyes are crap. But 120,
same.
I support. The other thing is the 13R, had just a better balanced experience. Yes, the battery wasn't as great. The processor was recycled from the previous year. But that's about it. So I don't understand what the 15R is for, especially at that price point.
Yeah.
The performance is actually not that great. Like it is good, but is it a gaming phone? No, it's like $50 more. $50 more buys you a Red Magic 11 Pro in the US with 5G support and warranty and everything. And yes, the software is crap, but if you're playing games, if you're looking at getting a 15R because you want a game, the GPU on that Elite chip is significantly better. And that's where you want to be at. So
absolutely.
11
and
Pro from Red Magic.
Triggers.
And the triggers and the fan and the liquid cooling, the actual real liquid cooling.
Yeah.
So I don't get the 15R. I still don't get it. I've had it for 3 weeks. I reviewed it for 2. I am still somehow annoyed with this phone. Every time I look at it. 3 weeks.
I reviewed it for 2, and it's been in a drawer for 1.
Yeah, it's been in a drawer for 1. But you're right about the one thing I didn't mention, and you did bring up. The magnetic ring in the case that doesn't let you wirelessly charge.
Right. I mean, I appreciate it because I could still use, MagSafe accessories with it, like my wallet, but it's still a little irksome.
Let's talk about some news.
Some news.
Okay, so we've got it's Tuesday. Normally I record at the end of the week, so you might not get as many news this week, folks. But there's some interesting little tidbits here. So the Realme 16 Pro Plus camera specs have officially been divulged. Now, this is a phone I discussed last week, and I've got a review unit coming, so stay tuned. There is an embargo, so I won't talk about what I know so far, but what is publicly, officially announced is this camera system, which is, the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Plus are like the numbered series from Realme, and it's always been a mid-range phone in terms of like specs, but it's always been a camera-centric mid-range phone. So it's always had imaging on its mind. Think of it as like a Realme GT8 Pro, like this year's GT8 Pro with amazing camera system, but without the flagship stuff like the wireless charging and the metal frame and the Snapdragon 8 and the, super awesome display. So this will have like a nice AMOLED, LTPS, 1080p panel, probably maybe a 1.5K panel, who knows. But it'll have like some kind of mid-level chip. Think, MediaTek Dimensity 7000 series or like a Snapdragon 7 Gen series of some kind.
Yeah,
that's
something.
Plastic frame, but it's thin. It's gonna have a massive battery, probably 7,000-ish milliamp hour, because every Realme phone this year, pretty much that I've received, has a massive 7,000 milliamp hour battery. So that is expected. It'll have fast charging, something above 60 watt. But it's the cameras. Look at that, dude! A 200 megapixel main sensor and a 3.5x periscope telephoto, both with OIS. That's what's coming to us.
Right. That is definitely not something you typically see on a mid-range phone.
On a $350 to $400 phone, like India pricing, that's pretty amazing. And of course, you're going to get a potato 8 megapixel ultra wide, but it doesn't matter. At that point, I'll live with that. As I said, the 15R has that same potato 8 megapixel camera. Even my Fine N5 folding phone has an 8 megapixel potato ultra wide, and it's good enough because the image processing. Yeah, it's sad. The image processing is actually pretty decent on these phones. So, but in low light, night is where it falls apart. The small potato 8 megapixel ultra wide. But the rest, it's interesting. The 200 megapixel main sensor seems overkill to me because you have a 3.5x telephoto taking over at 3.5. So But it might help. It might help. It might help get some more detail because it can do pixel binning 4:1 as well as 16:1. So
Right.
there's that. We'll see. I think this is very interesting, and it's definitely some part spinning on the part of Realme, Oppo, OnePlus here. But
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited about this. Did you
Yeah.
ever played with these phones? Do you dig it?
It has been it's been a minute since I've played with anything like Realme or even anything overseas. Just because, going back to I'm one person, I don't get to,
Right.
and most of the outlets that I write for are far more interested in the US
Same.
centric phones.
Same. That's why the podcast is a great vehicle for me to talk about this stuff for you guys.
Right. That being said, like I think it was Prakar who said a few years ago, he said, if somebody asked me in the US what a good phone is, I could tell them, here's what's good about Apple, here's what's good about Samsung, here's what's good about Google. If you ask me that same question in India, I need to open up about a dozen browser tabs and, take about 2 hours of my life to go through like all the different options that you can buy at different budgets and different price points overseas, which is a wonderful problem to have. And so like, when I say you don't often see a 200 megapixel camera, main sensor along with a periscope, sensor in a mid-range phone, I may be wrong. Like, you don't see that in the US, but in general, it's a powerful combination to see, especially if you're a shutterbug.
So there is like a category. Vivo has a similar phone, the V series. Like where they're mid-rangers with great cameras. There is such a thing out there, but there's not that many. There's probably 3 or 4 models available. And there's a Xiaomi model, there's a Vivo, there's an Oppo, and Realme in this case is what I meant by Oppo.
Right.
And then there is like maybe another brand like an Infinix or something, but that's it. Like it's a very niche thing, but it's very cool. As somebody who loves camera systems and in particular likes the Oppo universe's OSs, it's always delightful. Now, just to give you an example, last year's Realme 15 Pro Plus had the same setup, except instead of a 200 megapixel, it had a 50 megapixel main sensor, and it did have a 3x periscope. So it's not like a huge leap compared to last year. The big change is the battery size, but I think it's like they're pushing, like the old Pro Pluses, like it started with, I think the 9 or the 10 Pro Plus were the first ones to really go like, we're going for the camera. And they were like phones that added OIS early on their main sensors, which at that price point was unheard of. There are phones that added periscope telephoto early on that price point. There are phones that added, all kinds of cool, like in terms of software and image processing algorithms, features that you only normally get on flagships. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if they can do the AI zoom to 120, which apparently they're advertising on here, not the AI, but the 120 part, because whatever processor they have in there, does it support doing the AI processing of this AI zoom? So I'd be actually really curious to see and maybe put it side by side with the GT8 Pro, because that phone is just amazing. It's one of my favorite phones. I didn't mention it in my top 5 last week, but it's up there. It's up there.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to like 200 megapixel cameras and periscopes, I kind of like what Xiaomi did last year with the 15 Ultra, where they actually put the 200 megapixel sensor behind the periscope lens itself.
Well, so like the Find X9 Pro did that too this year. Did
it? Okay.
Right. Yeah,
but like I kind of prefer that approach, because then you can like get like super
But that's why
zoom.
I brought up the GT8 Pro. It has a 200 megapixel telephoto.
Right.
So what's interesting to me here is that this segues nicely into our conversation about Xiaomi. Actually, there's a couple more Oppo related, OnePlus related news here, but I wanted to quickly talk about the Xiaomi. So let's segue into that.
Okay.
There is a Xiaomi 17 Ultra coming in 2 days. By the time you get this podcast, it'll be official. It's coming on Christmas Day, because China doesn't care about Christmas, obviously.
That's right.
Or maybe they do.
Right.
Maybe they do so much that they're giving us a phone on Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas. Here is an
This will be
amazing
a
phone.
Chinese release only, but it's coming globally. We have good intel, good rumors that it's coming globally. The 17 Ultra is coming. We have a design. They've officially shared the design and the launch date, as I said, Christmas Day. And we more importantly have camera samples. And what the big deal here, I love the name of this sensor, OmniVision. Kudos to your marketing department. So this is going to have a 1-inch OmniVision sensor. OmniVision is kind of like the black swan of imaging sensor companies. They're just not very well known, but when they do every now and then make something, it's always either kind of forgettable or really incredibly good. And so this could be really incredibly good. Considering Xiaomi picked it, I assume it will be. 1-inch sensor called the Light Hunter 1050L. Light Hunter.
I love that.
I think Light Hunter. That should be, all phones should have a sensor called Light Hunter.
I mean, if at all possible, yes.
So this is supposed to have an incredible, first of all, f of 1.67 aperture, Leica optics, of course. It's a 50 megapixel main sensor, 1-inch. It's got massive pixels, and it supposedly uses a new technology called lateral overflow integration capacitor. That sounds like the flux capacitor in Back to the Future. Lateral overflow integration capacitor tech basically enables even better low light performance. So this is gearing up to be a low light monster in the sense that it has a fast lens, a very large sensor that's very sensitive to light. And the samples are really convincing, especially dynamic range, which I think is what we're talking about here. What are your thoughts on these samples?
My my ultra fave obviously has to be the dude in the Firestorm, where he's like I don't know if he's like summoning a fire. It's pretty great. And then the fireworks with the little kid on the swing, that just warms my heart, because I'm a dad. So I would love to have a photo like that of my children's. But yeah, these all look very cool. I would I kind of wish that I could see like the full res versions of them.
There is, by the way, if you look in the text here, they have a downloadable. If you go below the first set of above the first set of images, the guy in the Firestorm, it says download the full samples here. Yeah.
Oh, reading is hard.
So he's holding some kind of torch that is obviously, there is some kind of like fire coming out of that torch, and he's spinning that around, and that's what we're seeing there. But yeah, the fireworks with the kid is amazing. The fire breather is also pretty incredible. They're just lovely shots overall. That fireworks of the boat at the end, have you noticed? Look carefully at that photo with the fireworks on the boat. There's a guy standing holding a phone. You can see the display of the phone.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, so folks, I'll link this in the show notes. Check it out. I think it's pretty awesome. It's pretty compelling.
It is.
So by next week, we will have some more details on this phone, and we'll discuss it on the podcast. I was talking about Oppo and Oppo phones in general, and the Realme 16 Pro Plus, and how camera-centric is going to be for a mid-ranger.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, we're talking about camera-centric phones, and we finally have some harder leaks on, like more definite leaks on the Oppo Find X9 Ultra. This is the flagship imaging phone from Oppo. Last week, I mentioned on the show, we had a rumor of a phone coming in a Find X9 series that was going to have dual 200 megapixel sensors. A main sensor and a telephoto. Guess what? Turns out it's the Ultra. So we're going to get this. We're going to get a 50 megapixel ultra wide, a 200 megapixel main sensor. It's not going to be a 1-inch sensor, but it's going to be a very large sensor, probably like 1/1/2 inch or something. And then it's going to have a 200 megapixel 3x-ish, 3.5x-ish telephoto. And then it's going to have a 50 megapixel 10x telephoto on top of that. Because, the Find X9 Ultra, or 8 and 7 before it, always had 4 cameras. They were 450s, but now we're going 50, 200, 250. I'm there for this one because as much as I love the Xiaomi, and I'm sure it's going to be phenomenal, it's the software. Xiaomi software, I'm grimacing for those of you not watching the Patreon. I'm grimacing hard. Oppo all the way for me. ColorOS every day, please. Given the choice. So, will it come globally though? I doubt it. That's the problem, right? The Xiaomi is coming globally. We know that it's happening. They've kind of hinted at it. But this thing, we don't know. I don't think it's going to come globally, which is a real bummer. Mind you, the Find X9 Pro is our phone of the year. So it's pretty damn great. So do you really need the Ultra at this point? I don't know. So so that's another piece of Oppo, OnePlus, Realme news. And the last two things are, there is rumors of a OnePlus 15T. If you remember last year or this year, we're not done yet. The 13T came out. The 13T was the one that initiated the design language we have on the 15 and 15R, right? This new square camera pod, that kind of Pixel Pro Fold inspired design. And there's kind of squarish iPhone general vibe. So the 13T was a 6.3-inch flagship. It was a weird phone because it also existed as a 13S. In one market, I think China and India had different letters at the end, but it's the exact same phone. And when I got a device from Spencer for a week to play with, it did not have an ultra wide. It had a telephoto, like a nice telephoto, a nice main sensor, but no ultra wide. And I was like, what is going on here? Why'd you make a flagship that's like a full-on flagship that's so compact and so awesome and has all the features, but you're not giving us an ultra wide of all things? Yeah, put a potato in there if you have to. Geez.
Right. And actually, circling back to the Xiaomi that we were just discussing, like, how long will it be before the 50 megapixel ultra wide lens becomes the potato lens that you're throwing away? Like, yeah, we got a 400 megapixel main sensor and a 200 megapixel telephoto, and then just a 50 megapixel potato sensor for the ultra wide. You don't need that.
Well, I think the reason the 8 megapixels is a potato sensor is not so much that it's an 8 megapixel sensor. It's that it's a small sensor and the pixels are relatively small, like 1 micron or something. So you can't pixel bin, right? And then the other thing you run into is, like, you look at the 12 megapixel ultra wide that you see on Samsung phones. And again, as much as I give Samsung a lot of, I give them a hard time for a lot of things, their potato, quote unquote, ultra wide is not potato-ish. It's pretty decent. Yeah. Because it's 12 megapixels and it's 1.12 micron pixels. They're actually decent size. Do I wish it had a 50 megapixel ultra wide? Of course I do. Sure. But at least they're doing it kind of right. Like, you can kind of get decent low light ultra wide shots with that parts bin that's in every freaking Oppo, Realme, OnePlus is literally the potato sensor, the one that's in my Find N5. Why did you decrease the performance of the ultra wide on your folding phone, Oppo? Ugh. Anyway, we could go on.
Anyway, we could, but we won't.
So 15T is coming, replacing the 13T. Hopefully with a potato ultra wide or an ultra wide, at least. We won't get this in North America. It's coming probably to China and India. But, those of you who are adventurous enough and want that phone might be able to get it. So keep your ears out on that. And then there's a whole turbo line. Here's the thing that I want ranting again. You will agree with this. Yes. OnePlus, what are you doing? Okay, you are making products that we don't know who they're for in your main line of products, like 15, 15R. Then you're diversifying. You're doing what LG and who else stopped making phones? HTC did that killed them. You're making all these models that nobody needs.
All these variants and all these different SKUs that nobody's asking for.
You have the Nord line in Europe. You have the Ace line in China. Now you're adding a turbo line. Now we're not going to see these phones. It doesn't matter to us here. But can you please focus? Focus. Look at my eyes. Focus. Make phones that matter. The OnePlus 13 was a good phone. You could have stepped forward from there, but no, you decided to do something a bit weird. Ranting.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But yeah, the one thing that I think is very interesting about this phone, a 9,000 milliamp hour battery. Like
Well, yeah, I mean,
you are quickly approaching the point where
well, I
you can't take
predicted,
this on
right?
planes.
I said that on the podcast last week. I predicted that we're going to be at 10,000 in 2027, roughly, as a normal battery size for mid-range phones, at least, and possibly
I
some
mean,
flagships.
maybe overseas, but I don't think you're going to get
Well,
that
we're
big
getting
for
7,400 on the 15R. That was something that started in China earlier this year. We're getting in North America now, so I think it's possible. It'll be Chinese only, but it's possible. Here's the thing, right? Last week I mentioned the Honor Power 2 that has a 10,080 milliamp hour battery. The Honor Power 1, the original, came out earlier this year or last year, I can't remember, with 8,000 something. We now have a 9,000 on this OnePlus Turbo. By the way, the OnePlus Turbo, the leaks so far show that it looks exactly like a OnePlus 15R design-wise, but with a bigger battery and a lesser processor.
And
like
a higher resolution
Snapdragon
screen.
8S Gen 4 or something.
Yeah,
but it's also 165 hertz again. Like they're obsessed with that right now. But here's the other thing. You know about this, that the 15R has a twin in China called the OnePlus Ace 6T.
Right.
And that's the exact same phone, except for two things.
Okay.
It has an 8,300 milliamp hour battery in the same chassis. So almost at 9,000. And it has a 16 megapixel selfie camera instead of the 32.
And that's it. Those are the only differences.
Oh, it has faster charging. I think it goes up to 120. But whatever. The point I'm making is that it is a little weird that they have this plethora of phones here. Like, this doesn't make sense. You're diversifying too much, OnePlus. Like, I think just focus. Like, last year's 13R was the Ace 5 in China. Now there's an Ace 6 and an Ace 6T, and the 15R is a 6T, but there's also an Ace 6, which has an 8 Elite, not Gen 5. Like,
yeah, it's a little goofy.
Look, I love OnePlus, and that's why I'm annoyed, because I'm like, I don't want them to get to a point where they're not financially doing okay because they're diversifying, and then they're pulling out of the US market.
Right. Yeah, you definitely don't want to see that.
They're the only thing we have left that's a proper Chinese brand with all the proper Chinese goodness, like big batteries, fast charging. That we can
plug in the box.
Yeah, that we can get in North America. So, and by the way, the plug in the box is gone from the OnePlus devices in Europe, as you know. So, because it's the law there, right? Okay. They decided that they're not going to give people chargers anymore, which I think for this particular use case is silly. But hey, that's just me. Okay, calm down. There's one last thing on the list. We kind of touched on it already, and that's the FIFA phone, the Razer Edition FIFA phone that leaked. And that's something we'll see at CS, I guess, maybe. But
yeah, possibly.
Are you okay? Two choices here. It could be a normal Razer that's been adapted, right, with a fancy color scheme and skin. Which, knowing Moto and all the Swarovski,
it's almost
Pantone,
certainly what it is.
But what if? What if this foldable they've been teasing for CS is a new Razer, bespokely made for FIFA, that's kind of like a hybridized, part spin version of the three Razers we know and love?
I mean, I suppose that's possible. What I'm excited about, specifically regarding the Razer, is the fact that Motorola is partnering up with FIFA to begin with, because, not a huge thing. I mean, you know what? We can probably circle back to my point if you want to finish up on.
No, I'm done. That's all I had to say.
Okay.
Like, there's a FIFA phone. I don't know if it's a new Razer or an old Razer.
Right.
Carry on.
Motorola has been very smart with its partnerships in terms of advertising and in terms of sports, because I'm a baseball fan. I see Motorola logos all over the place in a lot of different baseball stadiums, and partnering up with FIFA is just in my world, it's brilliant, because FIFA is like the largest football organization in the world, and it has probably billions with a B followers behind it. So like getting a foldable phone in front of that kind of an audience is just a remarkable achievement. And I'm very happy for Motorola for doing that, because I love Motorola phones.
I mean, let's face it, if there's a team sport that is bigger than anything else in the world, of any team sport, it is football, aka soccer, FIFA, right? So
Yeah.
being the official phone person, whatever, phone company, phone manufacturer, phone partner
Hmm.
for FIFA is like, you have won. You have won
Right.
all the things. You are at the
Right.
top of your game. Like,
But
pardon the
not
pun.
even that. Like, look at all the Chinese phones that come out with, branded versions of their phones. I had the Realme Iron Man phone around this time last year. Stuff like that. Iron Man is cute. FIFA is a major, and like people that are really obsessed with FIFA, which is like, most people are going to, if Iron Man is going to draw people to buy a phone, FIFA is going to drive millions of people to buy phones.
And
Like
then who knows?
specifically
It
FIFA
could also
branded.
be a limited edition that's only given to the FIFA attendees as a prize, or to
Well, that could be.
the soccer players, the football players, like Samsung does with the Olympics editions, right?
That's true.
So
That's
we
true.
don't really know, is this going to be a publicly available device for sale? But that partnership is absolutely the top partnership in the world. Like that and
Oh, yeah.
Formula One are basically it. Those are the two that you can consider to be the biggest audiences watching a sport in the world. Like,
Right.
as North Americans, because I'm in Vancouver, Canada right now, and I split my time, and as you being in Chicago, we are
Mhm.
not like baseball. Even hockey or American football is not a big deal in the great
Right.
scheme of the world, compared to, or NASCAR is not a great deal compared to, say, Formula One or FIFA.
Mhm.
And that's, Lenovo had just won here. Like,
I
Moto
mean,
is winning.
if you want to know like how big a deal a Motorola partnership with FIFA is, imagine if every time you took a drink of water, a little voice in your ear said, "Brought to you by Motorola." I mean, that's like really the only way that you could get a bigger audience than partnering with FIFA. But in the meantime, brought to you by Motorola. Um, like that's really the only way that you could get a bigger sponsorship.
For
So
those of you not
kudos.
watching on Patreon, Adam took a sip of water, hence the
Yeah,
brought to you
brought
by
to you by
Motorola.
Motorola.
Listen, let's wrap
In my
up. This is a good
Yeah.
time because we're losing our minds now. So,
Yes, we are. We're going a little crazy.
tell the audience where they can find you on the internet, your social media handles, and where we can find your writing and stuff.
Oh my god. You can find my writing everywhere. So, and actually this is good. I have a document written up so that I can not miss anything. So, I'm Dead Technology on Threads and on Instagram. Benefit of the Doud on YouTube. That's a benefit of the DOUD, spelled like my last name. That's a YouTube channel that I run with my partner Cliff. And then as far as my writing is concerned, I freelance with SlashGear, ZDNet, CNET, Mashable, otherwise known as the Ziff Davis trilogy, Techlicious, Gear Diary. I'm getting a byline at Tech Radar pretty soon. So like pretty much anywhere where the check clears. I'm a mercenary. I will write anything for anybody. As long as the price is right. And then if you want to hear about freelancing, if you want to learn more about freelancing specifically in this industry and get a little bit of inside baseball, you can follow me on LinkedIn, where it's just, linkedin.com/whatever, Adam Doud. You can follow me there, and I write about freelancing like once or twice a week on LinkedIn as well. So that is me on the internet as I exist.
Yes, and folks, go check out Adam's work, follow him on social. His LinkedIn is very insightful for those of you who are freelancers, even if you're not freelancing in the media. So check it all out. You know where to find me on the internet. I'm at Tankgirl. That's TNKGRL, just like the comic book. Drop all the vowels. You get my handle almost everywhere. I'm mostly active on Blue Sky and Insta and Threads, but you'll find me most places. TikTok, add 69 at the end because I'm a joker and it's also my year of birth. And I couldn't get my handle because whoever has my handle, I'm looking at you. So TikTok, yeah, check it out. Also, the podcast is at mobiletechpodcast.com, and that's where the RSS feed is. That's where it propagates to every other platform. So I'm obviously on all of them: Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube Music specifically, and more. So check it out. Subscribe if it's your first time here, etc. You know the drill. YouTube is at youtube.com/mobiletechpodcast. You get some occasional videos there, hands-ons, reviews and unboxing and stuff like that. So expect something for the trifold, hopefully at CES. And so you know how YouTube works. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the bell, comment, all that good stuff. The usual. And then finally, there is my Patreon, patreon.com/tankerl. That's patreon.com/TNKGRL. As I said earlier, right now the thing is easy. You can get a video version of this podcast every week, a day in advance for $5 a month. It's a pretty good deal. So hopefully if you want to support me and see us in video and see us a little before the public audio version, and oh boy, Adam's making silly faces. See, this is worth it. Right now you want to pay, right? So the point is also there's bloopers. Sometimes I go overtime and I'll leave extra content in there. So consider supporting me on Patreon, patreon.com/TNKGRL. And finally, I want to thank our sponsor, Mint Mobile. So as you know, I'm constantly reviewing multiple phones, and while that's fun, it also means I'm constantly spending a lot of money for wireless service on multiple SIMs. That's where Mint Mobile comes in, and that's who I'm partnering with for today's podcast. If you also want to save money on your wireless service, switch to Mint Mobile. As tech-savvy early adopters, you've probably heard of Mint Mobile before, but let me quickly tell you how awesome their service is. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online. They cut out the retail stores and salespeople. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? In my experience testing phones, Mint Mobile delivers the same data speeds and call quality as the big three for a fraction of the cost. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to their eSIMs, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. No more standing around and waiting in line at a big wireless store. You can keep your current device and phone number and easily switch services. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM free of charge. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, lightning fast 5G, and free mobile hotspot. Mint will show you how much data you use each month and recommend plans that save you money. Mint also offers a modern family plan that lets you set up a super affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. Use my link mintmobile.com/mobiletech to get premium wireless starting for $15 a month. That's mintmobile.com/mobiletech. Stop paying more than you need on your wireless bill and start saving big with Mint Mobile. And Adam, thanks for being my guest on the show yet again. I really appreciate you coming on, especially just in the holidays where everybody's so busy.
Thanks for having me. And it was no problem for me to come on. This is my first day off. Like for the rest of the year, I'm not working for the rest of the year. And when I say I'm not working, it means I'm going to be working less hard than usual.
Yeah, I relate to that. Yeah. So yes, folks, stay tuned. I'll have Adam on again in the future. We'll have another podcast next week. I'll go over all the Xiaomi stuff. We'll also talk about some EVs, recap the year a little bit on that front. So stay tuned for that. And until then, cheers, everybody.